What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and it's been a long period of time since I've done a deck profile, and I am happy to, come back with some new stuff. We got some new birds in the Yu-Gi-Oh family, and I'm sure a lot of people are very excited about these new birds, and some people are not. I'm one of those people who are very excited about the new birds and could not wait till the new birds got released. So we have the Floowandereeze coming to us now in the TCG. I am playing, of course, with their OCG support card, and why not? Because birds. This is just basically something I was testing um, a stream or two ago because I got experience with Spyro, and I kind of have some in between time right now. So expect a lot of other stuff to happen in the meantime, or wait out for some stuff to happen. But I have videos for that. Anyway, why don't we go ahead and why don't we take a look at my Floowandereeze deck. So, starting off with the Floowandereeze, we have 3 copies of Floowandereeze Eaglin, 2 copies of Floowandereeze Robina, 2 copies of Streech, 2 copies of Toucan, 1 Snow, and 1 Impin. Of course, this is not running our big birds, so we have 1 copy of Rise of the Mega Monarch, 1 Miss Valley Apex Avian, and 1 copy of Barrier Statue of the Stormwind. To round out the monsters, we have a full set of Dimensional Shifter. Then, for our spell cards, rocking for the Floowandereeze, we have 3 copies of Floowandereeze in the Magnificent Map, 2 copies of Floowandereeze in the Journey Preparations, 1 copy of Floowandereeze in the Unknown Winds, and then we have a ton of spell support. 3 copies of Crossout Designator, 3 copies of Pot of Duality, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, 1 copy of, Golden Sarcophagus. And for the trap cards, we have 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, 3 copies of Floowandereeze in the Scary Seas. Then for the extra deck, 2 copies of Farigite, the Burden Blossom, 1 copy of some more, the Bird of Solvency, 2 copies of Lureless Assembling Nightingale, 2 copies of Lureless Ragtail Swalling, Sterlings, not Swalling, Sterling, uh, 2 copies of Kinkagashi Fuko, 2 copies of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, 2 copies of Super Rail Dreadnought, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Labrie, and 2 copies of Divine Arsenal Double A Zeus Sky Thunder. And then for the side deck, we got a copy of Floowandereeze Snow, 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Fake Veiler, 1 copy of Harpie Dancer, 3 copies of Monarch Storm 4th, 2 copies of Infinity Pyramids, and 2 copies of Floowandereeze in the city. The Dreaming Town. I like those CG names better. Anyway, so take a look at the deck itself. This is a deck that does focus on its normal summons. Your biggest 2 starters in setup cards are going to be Floowandereeze Robina, Floowandereeze Eaglin. For your monsters, you have Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Duality, which are really great for a deck that does not care about special summoning and a deck that doesn't have much reliability on draw power. So it's basically taking advantage of cards that don't draw to get itself going. Then we have Floowandereeze, and we do have Floowandereeze in the Unknown Winds that does get some type of support for drawing. But to be honest with you, with these 2 cards here, I kind of just feel like this is only really here just for its other ability, which is giving the ability to tribute summon and using your opponent's monsters to do the tributing. But yeah, this is a really solid deck. This is something that I definitely, like, as a Winged Beast player, oh my god, this is a really cool deck for Winged Beast. Especially playing around with normal summon, which most decks themselves don't do. Unless you're Kaiju. Like, legitimately, Kaiju was the only thing I could think of that actually does have, like, its really cool setup for normal summons. And I kind of just hate the pendulum mechanic, which I forgot that Yosenji was pendulum. But, anyway, with Eaglin and Robina being your big starts, Stretch comes in handy when you want to banish from your opponent's graveyard to make sure things don't get in your way. And Toucan helps you get back banished cards, so that's even better. Then we have, of course, their big hits, the Snow Impin, Snow for the Big Book of Moon for all the special summon monsters, and then Impin to have monsters attacks. Well, after it does its own uh, involvement in battle, and honestly, two of the biggest hitters of high level winged beasts as well, because you don't get this often with high level winged beasts. Like the closest you'll get is, ironically enough, Ryza, who's in the deck, Miss Valley Apex Avian, who's in the deck, and then some more if you wanted to play around with some more. Speaking of Ryza and Avian, they're both here in the deck at one ofs. Like the big ones are the one ofs because all the little guys just help you do so much to get the normal summons. You can just set up your fodder for them, which is why I'm actually not surprised about the combination between um, was it Samorg in Floowandereeze. I've heard it's pretty meh, but I heard a lot of people did enjoy how it just works out because you can use the field spell, you can do a lot of tribute summoning, you can do a lot of tribute. You can do a lot of plays with the tribute summoning, and you really just it's a really big tribute setup. The only thing is that you are locked out of special summoning, which is something that some work does focus on. So it's kind of one of those type of situations, but it gets the job done and anything. And then of course you have your massive negate with Apex Avian. You have the barrier statue for the stall out in the restriction of summon. And then the dimensional shifter is just here to tell your opponent no graveyard. Especially when it's not your turn and they're trying to do combo plays to stop to make a massive board on you. And this is a great way to stop that massive board. Then let's move on to the spells. With Floowandereeze, they have this amazing field spell, which grants them not only the ability to search for the Floowandereeze by banishing one from your hand to get one with a different name, but then you're able to do a normal summon after you've done the search. And that helps so much with this deck because this deck can now do normal summons on your opponent's turn, and then start dropping big guys like Ryza and Avian. Then on top of that, you have Floowandereeze in the Unknown Winds, which is only a one of. I would have said I would have drawn in a second, maybe, question mark. But the real thing about this card is that you're only reusing it for its ability to stretch out the factor of I don't have a way to normal summon or tribute summon. I'll use my opponent. Kind of like a Soul Exchange or a Monarch Storm Fourth, which is ironically enough because I did actually use Monarch Storm Fourth, and actually a really good combination of card because you're taking your opponent's monsters and attributing it for your own. So maybe in the future, a good combo between the two because you really don't care too much for your extra deck, and you're basically locking down anyway. But it's just some options. Then we have Floowandereeze in the journey preparations. This is to help you either get Floowandereeze monsters or go get the map and have a map ready to go. The additional 500 is not bad because it can help in some situations, maybe in some time issues, but oh yeah, definitely great search if anything. Designator. If you're not running big cards to designate, or even copies of itself. Designator is probably something that I would not suggest playing in the deck unless you are going to play stuff like Ash Blossom and Effect Veiler, which are some of this deck's biggest counters. But well, that also did counter get this too. But, yeah, this is still really good. This is a really great card. If you get your hands on a set of, yes, I know this is a good card. I'm sorry, my mouse is having issues. But if you do get a chance to get a set of these, take advantage of it. But I don't know. I'm questioning if I really want to run the set, but you can also cross out Designator. Your opponent's cross out Designator. So yeah. Anyway, pot of prosperity, pot of duality, work really well for that really doesn't touch summon, doesn't have much access to draw power, so excavating the search and being able to get cards to your hand as fast as possible, so you can set up your combo plays can be very helpful, and even set up your rebuttals. All right, we move on to the traps. The three copies of the lovely Harpie's Feather Storm. This card can definitely hit your opponent and hit your opponent hard. Now, although this archetype does not have any Harpies to take advantage of, there is at least one you can, and that is, of course, Harpie Dancer, for her ability to grant you an additional normal summon by returning a wind monster on the field back to the hand. Um, which in depth can just, swap her out to swap in Eaglin or swap in Toucan can be a thing, but it does at least grant you access to Harpie's Featherstorm. You can also access to Harpie Conductor if that isn't the case if you want to splash her into the extra deck. Uh, then you have, of course, Floowandereeze in the Scary Seas is a great counter trap and the force to your opponent's normal summon. You only just have to have a monster that you summon no special summon monsters, which is our type has access to. And then not only negating the summon, but then forcing your opponent to do nothing but normal summon for up to 3 times. And you get folks that don't do normal summons, they do a whole bunch of stuff, so this is a great counter for a good couple of things in the current game. To the extra deck, and I'm only going to say this because of what the extra deck is. Pot of Prosperity is just here to extend. That's primarily what this extra deck does. There's a rare occasion that if you ever get into these monsters, but if you do, you're most likely just going to try to extend to hit into Zeus. And then Zeus just does his massive board wipe for the just in case scenarios. If not, you take advantage of Farajit to help you get into some work, and then some work will help you get either out the Apex Avian or the Barrier Statue. So, with that said and addressed, the only other thing to talk about, of course, is the extra. But like I said, you have 2 really amazing hand traps and options of hand traps if needed. You can definitely tech those in and then combine them with Designator so that you can counter your opponent when your opponent tries to use either of these against you. The Monarch Storm 4th is another way to extend your tribute summons. I also would have said Solar Exchange, but at least this allows you to battle. So, yeah, it does help out there. You can Infinity Impermanence if Feather Storm isn't your flow. But funny enough, Feather Storm is is a cheaper snatch than it is to get Infinity Impermanence. So noted. And then Floowandereeze in the Dreaming Town, which I don't really have anything. This is very situational, and I feel like if you're playing this, you're mostly playing this as I went first, and this is just here to help me when my opponent starts taking their turn, and then using the combo pieces there. Which is why it's in the side deck. It's not in the main, and to be kind of fair, it feels very gimmicky. Because I at least did try to play it, but I feel like it's one of those trying to do stuff that the archetype doesn't really like. If you wanted to put stuff face down, just play Book of Eclipse. If that's like you're wanting to do, just play Book of Eclipse. Honestly, it's just way better, in my opinion, than the Dreaming Town. Like the only real thing you got Dreaming Town is the effect to normal summon all 4 our Laura Wind Winged Beast, and if you tribute summon, you can banish the card to put monsters face down. But you also have Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, and in Super Book of Moon or whatever that book is called. I think Book of Double Moon, if I'm not mistaken. I forget what that book card is, but yeah, it's like a new Book of Moon. It's a discard, and you can put up to two monsters on the field face down. So yeah. All right. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch it. I know it's been a minute since I've actually done any deck profile, so do expect some more soonish. Can give you a full guarantee, but soonish. And definitely, if you guys are playing Floowandereeze, let me know how you guys are playing around with this deck in the comment section below. And with that said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys are informed of when I do upload more content. Hit me up on social media. The links are in the description box below. And of course, catch me live on twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe, where I am active doing my streams. So, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. And I'll catch you all next time. HBJ, signing out. Take care.